Shalom. Thanks for joining me today. The title of this story is Accept Correction or Pay the Price. And I can relate to this title because I've received correction and it was hard to receive, but fruitful when I obeyed the correction. I've also seen others get corrected and I have given others correction. There are many responses to correction. Some take it, and some are thankful for being given correction or given correct guidance, and some are embarrassed but accept the correction. Some are prideful and turn on the person trying to help them. I've experienced that, and in my immaturity, I have done that. Some pout about the correction and think the correction is a direct attack on them. You can probably add to the list. However, the bottom line is you obey and you grow, or you ignore the correction and you're subject to making the same mistake, or worse could happen. Now, I'm going to give you a real life example um, with a relative in Michigan. And I'm changing the names of my relatives just in case they happen to go to my Facebook page where I'll post this blog and click and see their names, or they go to YouTube or something. But Edna, I'm just saying Edna, my cousin, called me and said that her brother Robert was in the hospital having surgery the next day. And my first response was, why? Because I didn't know. Wasn't really close to her brother, but I knew him. We used to be really tight when we were all growing up together in Detroit. But we both got adults and went kind of our separate ways. But I didn't know that he was in a situation where he would be needing surgery. And she proceeded to tell me that he was dealing with diverticulitis and it had created a hole in his colon. The doctors had identified an abscess that was on his colon, and there was a major infection in his stomach. She ended the text. He's not taking care of his body at all, you know. And after the surgery, I texted and I asked how he was doing. And she said she had just spoke to the surgeon and they were not able to perform the surgery. There was too much infection and scar tissue. They did some cleaning of his stomach, and it'll go back in on Sunday and maybe again on Tuesday, and I forget what day that was, but it was like 3 or 4 days before the Sunday, and it was a very complicated process, and that he'll come home eventually and have to return again in maybe 6 months to see if they can perform the actual surgery then. This was so serious that all I could say was, wow, y'all bless him. And Anna said exactly what I said. Now, fast forward a few days, and Edna went to the hospital room and was there with their mother. And Edna was trying to tell Robert that when he goes home for the 6 months, that he'll have to change his lifestyle and take better care of himself. And her brother said, I haven't done anything wrong. I'm living right. So Edna and mother exchanged glances and were dumbfounded at his denial. Okay. They did not say anything else to Robert. And when she told me, I quoted Proverbs 26:4. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest thou also be like unto him. I mean, some things we can't change anybody, and everybody makes their own choices. But when he went home, he didn't apply the correction that was given him, the suggestions for a better lifestyle, and he's no longer with us. All right. Now, another situation that is a little bit closer to me and talking about myself and my husband who passed in 2022. He had some lifestyle changes to make that were very difficult for him to make. He was diagnosed with diabetes probably 20 years before he passed. And he enjoyed eating what he wanted to eat and doing what he wanted to do. And so sometimes he would make some changes, but they were small, and he would bounce back, into old habits that would cause his blood sugar to be high and for the diabetes to progress. And they say, diabetes is a silent killer. And I can understand why they say that, because at the point where we recognized that Floyd was dealing with congestive heart failure, he was smack dead in it before he realized it. And I don't know what Floyd might have recognized, but I remember one day we were at Walmart, and he was so out of breath and tired. I said, Floyd, when we leave here, we're going straight to urgent care. He didn't want to, but I said, no, we're going straight to urgent care. And when we got there, they sent him to the hospital. And I said, well, I'll take him. She said, no. She said, he's in such a state that we can't even trust you to take him there. He has to go in an ambulance. And it was like, the hospital wasn't that far away. The hospital could have been 10 minutes at the most, you know. And so then from there, it was kind of up and down, up and down, up and down until he passed. But at a certain point, he had made choices. But I'm going to tell you, sometimes it takes a lot for somebody to make a choice. And it's hard when you're someone who's watching somebody make choices that you know is not the healthiest choice for them to make. And that's what I did. Now, I had a struggle with weight. Right now, I weigh, this morning I was like 167 or something like that. But I have been over 200 pounds. And I remember going to the doctor when Winston and Zoe were young. And the doctor had me get on the scale. And when she said 200, Winston and Zoe said, 200! It's like, I was a little embarrassed because I think that they yell loud enough for the people out in the waiting room to hear. But I had gone to, I had a blood test or something, and they told me I was pre-diabetic. Now, that for me was almost a death knell, okay, because I didn't want nothing, no kind of association with diabetes. And so I started, to take the weight down slowly, but it has come down. And so, because I knew people that died from the consequences of diabetes. I remember my uncle's uh, wife had one leg cut off, then another leg cut off. And my uncle, his family, diabetes had attacked several people in his family, his siblings, and I believe his mom. But one of his siblings had lost her leg. And I remember in another family was in-law family for a cousin. One of the persons there had gone blind from diabetes. So for diabetes, it was like, I ain't want to mess with it. Some people will say that had diabetes. I mean, back in the day, and I'm talking about like in the 50s, they would say, oh, they got a little sugar. They dealing with a little sugar. Mm-mm. I've seen how diabetes can ravage you. But I'm gonna tell you, whatever you are dealing with, Father is willing to help you to be able to overcome it. And what He asks is that you obey His commands and have faith in Messiah. That's what He. And then you have all the force and the power and authority from Him and Yeshua to be able to help you to overcome. And something Arthur said, and this is Arthur Bailey from House of Israel in Charlotte, you can overcome anything if you're willing to endure beyond your weakest point. And I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I just finished a fast, okay? And the last few days of the fast, it would seem like I would get a little upset stomach. Not so much hungry, but when you kind of feel a little nauseous or whatever. And the enemy was saying, you need to get off this fast. You've been on this fast too long. You'd have been past the 21-day point now. It don't even make sense to go to 25 days. Just go on and get off of this. So I'd have to say, no, I'm gonna push past. I'm gonna push past. And a lot of times, my pushing past, because I would try to do something to occupy my mind. I'd either do some work or reading or something else. And I'd look up and it was after 6 o'clock with the time that the fast would end for that day. And I would go on and I would eat, but beyond that point, because sometimes when we're trying to persevere with something, maybe giving up sweets, giving up alcohol, cigarettes, or something like that, the enemy wants to kind of convince you that something terrible is going to happen to you, like you're going to die. Now, you ain't going to die, but you got the feeling like you might die. I had the feeling like I'm going to get so upset and I'm going to get sick. My upset, my stomach going to get so upset that I'm going to get sick and I'm going to have a headache and I'm going to do all this. But all of that stuff didn't happen. And as a matter of fact, when I took my mind, kind of shut that down and went to something else to distract me from all of that, I was just fine. So whatever you're dealing with, Father can help you. Go to some scripture that can help you. I can do all things through Messiah who strengthens me. Whatever your verse is, or whatever Father has said to you, use that to enable you to be an overcomer, because we must endure to the end. And enduring to the end doesn't necessarily mean enduring, and it does mean enduring to your death. I mean, enduring in the faith. But we have endurances in this life. We're going to endure till the fast is over. We're going to endure till our weight gets to the right thing. We're going to endure till we give up smoking. We're going to endure till we make this marriage better. We're going to endure till, whatever. You finish the sentence out. But I hope this has been helpful, and I hope that you endure in whatever it is that you're enduring now or will be enduring in the future. Shalom, shalom. Remember to like and share and subscribe if you haven't. Shalom.